Yo, what's up? Make sure you comment, share, subscribe, all that stuff down there. If you wish to contribute to the platform, the Cash App is $J Roos ROOS 33. If you can't contribute, no harm, no foul. Now I did a video giving my top three boxers of the year, and now I have to give my top three disappointing boxers of the year. Not saying the fights were boring, but the fighters didn't live up to the hype. Let's just put it like that. Let's start with Canelo versus Charlo. Was it Jermell or Jamal? I get them mixed up. You guys tell me in the comments. But I still didn't see that fight in its entirety. I just watched clips, but I just heard from everybody, and from what I saw, it was like dude was just moving around. He wasn't really trying to put any hurt on Canelo for most of the fights, maybe one or two rounds, but for the most part, seemed like he was content with just showing up and getting a check. And you never like to see that, especially when you're paying a pay-per-view amount. If it's on free TV, then maybe you can put up with it. But people had been wanting to see that fight for a while with Charlo and Canelo, and they didn't get their money's worth. So Charlo disappointed a lot of people, and it'll be hard for him to sell another pay-per-view fight. It'll be really hard for him to pull that off. And that's one thing fighters should think about. If you're just there to get a check, you got to think about your future. Like, how am I going to market myself in the future if I don't show up and give my best effort? So I'm going to say Canelo versus Charlo. Charlo didn't do his part. Canelo did his. Let's move on. Let's see. I'm going to say Errol Spence. Now, he tried. I'll give him that. He tried his best. It's just we had been waiting for this fight for over 5 years, I believe. And it was just so one-sided. And I'm not going to even say that was Spence's fault, because I feel like he did his best. Of course, people that support Spence are going to say that it was all the outside of the ring things which led to that. And, that's probably, that has something to do with it. You have to live like a fighter, but still, Terrence Crawford showed that he was levels above Mr. Errol Spence. So I'm going to say Spence disappointed a lot of people. And there are people that I understand bet on him and lost. So their platforms are still speaking that garbage that Terrence Crawford cheated, which is absolute nonsense, and nonsense comes out of their mouths. And that's why I no longer watch their platforms, because it's garbage. When you start talking about a fighter on the level of Terrence Crawford cheated, that shows me you have absolutely no idea of what you speak of, and you got some haterade pumping through your bloodstream. So I'm going to say Spence disappointed, but, he gave his best, and it just wasn't good enough. And I think the rematch will be the same, if not worse. Number three, Mr. Otto Wallin. And Joshua made Wallin lean back. Lean back. No copyright. But yeah, Wallin did all that talking, and he almost had me wondering. I was like, man, this dude sounds so confident. Is he going to pull it off? And then the minute he got in the ring, he looked shook. He looked like, what did I get myself into? When he got his first body blow, like I said many times, from Joshua, he looked like, man, did I choose the right profession? I remember my first time sparring, man. I've told this story before. I was boxing this big old dude from the UK, Alex something. He was like 6'6". We were around the same weight, and I was watching him spar. I'm like, man, I'm gonna just go in there and jab the mess out of this guy. His reach was so long, it was hard to get in. He said he felt my power, but the dude hit me like right in the sternum, and that's the first time I had been hit there. Knocked the air out of me, so I'm trying to play it off. And I'm glad the bell rung, because I might have gotten hurt, but he got me real good there. And I was thinking at that moment, like, did I choose the right sport? But like I was saying, I was tripping that the dude said he could feel my power. And when we were in the clinch, neither one of us were moving back. And, you know, out of all the guys I sparred with, he was the strongest. That guy was like a tree. I couldn't push him back, but he couldn't push me back. It's that roost juice. Not juice like roids, but juice. All right, anyway, let's get back to the, yeah. But Wallin looked like he had no business in there with Anthony Joshua. And Joshua just went in there, handled his business. Wallin's body, if you just look at Joshua and look at Wallin, you're like, why does this guy look like he takes the sport seriously and the other guy looks like he just left the kitchen table? For Wallin to do all that talking, you would have thought he would have come in better shape than that, especially since he had a fight not too long before his fight with Joshua, you know? So there's no excuse for that. So I'm going to say Charlo, you guys tell me, was it Jermell or Jamal? I think it was Jermell. Not sure. Don't quote me on that. Errol Spence Jr. and Otto Wallin. Out of both of those two, Wallin looked the worst and got his snot box rocked. And if he wants to come back, he's gonna have to try to sit down on his punches and try to have some physical presence about yourself. Look like a fighter, man. There's no reason, people on the street should be in better shape than a professional athlete. That's ridiculous. Anyway, those are my top 3 disappointing boxers of 2023. Let me know who you guys got. LSR forever. Make sure to comment, share, subscribe, and be fearless. Yay.